So I was getting this engine code 563, I think it is, PO 563. It's a high voltage code, engine code. The engine light would flash on just when the just right about the shift point when you were revving to shift. Not excessive revving, not racing or nothing, but just, you know, normal, not messing around. And I'd get that light and it'd throw that code every time. So I checked my stator. I ohmed it to ground. I didn't find any issues, so I'm assuming it's the voltage regulator. I checked my battery ground and everything else I could find, but it repeats every single time you rev it to a certain point. It throws that code. I put a voltmeter on it. This is a Road King. It doesn't have a voltmeter. I put a voltmeter on it, on the battery, and went for a ride, and sure as hell it's when you get to that high rev point, it's charging over 15 volts. And from what I've read, if you get over 15 volts for more than 4 seconds, he'll throw that code. So I think that's what's happening. I think this voltage regulator, this original stock Harley voltage regulator, is just going bad. We're going to find out. It looks like crap. You can see it's cracked right there. This is some kind of foamy stuff. I don't know what that is, but it's cracked. This is an '08 Road King. One thing I noticed is the bottom engine mount was just replaced by Harley. Now let me show you something I found. You see this little stuff right here? You know what that is? That's this. This is your shroud. I've got it pulled back right now. Let me slide it back up. There you go. This is your shroud coming from your stator out of the side of the engine there, the front of the engine. Now the only way to replace this cable is to change the rotor, which means pulling your side cover, dumping all your oil out of the primary. Big pain in the ass, big job. But it just goes to show you, when you think you're getting high quality work for that $90 an hour. And one thing I noticed is these clamps. This one on this side was upside down. The one on the left side, as you're sitting in the passenger seat. You see that hole? See that hole right there in the insulation? Well, that's what this is right there. They had this clamp on backwards, upside down, however you want to look at it. And so I got to looking at the insulation, and I said, well, I better check the wire. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but look at that bare wire right there. Can you see that? You know, if you can't see it, it's right there. It's barely rubbing through in one spot. Right there, just barely. I don't think it was grounding out, because these things are coated with a rubber like insulated material, and it didn't show up when I when I ohmed it. So I'm hoping this is going to be my problem, the regulator itself, and not that that cable coming out of the stator, because this, like I said, this, you don't just unplug this from the engine. This is attached to the stator. So any of this gets damaged, this plug, any of that, you got to go in and change the stator. It's probably not the best design in the world, but that's the way it is. And so when you get somebody that's working on your bike and they do this kind of crap right here, pinch that protective sleeve there, and then you get vibration against these clamps, and next thing you know, you got holes in your wires, and because something wasn't done right, and that's what you end up with. And it pisses me off. And then you bring the bike to Harley and they say, yeah, you got a bad stator. They won't tell you that they put the damn thing on wrong in the first place. But anyway, I think I caught this early enough. See that little bare spot right there? Right there. I think I caught it early enough where I'm certainly not going to pull the stator unless I find that it's bad. But I'm going to get some electrical tape and re-insulate that spot. Check everything real good, and then I'm going to insulate this where they pinch this thing in the bolt. I'm going to tape that up real good and put it back together and go out and test it. But man, I tell you, it pays if you just do your own work, because you never know what you're getting when you bring your bike in. It's really just disappointing that for $90 an hour you get this kind of crap. And like I said, they changed this motor mount right here. The bike before I bought it was dumped upside down, trying to load it on a trailer, and busted that motor mount. So just wanted to pass on what I've found. But protect this stator cable, because you're not just going to change the cable. This one you can, this just runs up to the battery. But this is coming from the alternator, the stator, same thing. And your voltage regulator just changes the AC voltage into 12 volt DC, and this runs up and powers up all your DC 12 volt DC in your battery, charges your battery. But the purpose of this regulator is to keep the voltage between 14.2 and 14.7. So if it's going over that, you got a problem, which I do. And this Cycle Electric is what I decided to go with, because I read some really good stuff about these people, and you can tell it's really well made. It's got aluminum back instead of this foam crap that Harley has on it. It's a direct replacement, you can tell. Really good looking regulator. And just picking it up, I can tell you this thing is way heavier. I mean, there's some good stuff in here. I don't know what it is, but just weighing it, I mean, it's so much difference. Just picking it up, I can tell you that this is if weight means anything, this is good quality. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it now and fix that fix that wire and check everything out and see what happens. Adios.